Welcome back, family. Another Wednesday with the Pulse. Here we go. Here we go. And as always, we'll do a quick check-in around the panel, starting with Lynn. How has your week been so far?
Man, I'm gonna be positive.
Please do.
But I say that because I lost another one
Oh no.
this morning. But
No.
the good part about it is his family is good because of the work that we did for him.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So that's what I feel good about. Um, but I was telling a friend of mine, I feel like I'm making one of those in memoriam videos
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm down 5 soldiers, and it's first week in March, second week in March.
That's crazy.
But you know, the feedback has been awesome. So I know I'm in the right place at the right time doing the right work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important to say. Um, and what I'm glad you did say that because we're gonna have to I'd like to spend some time again in 2026 just updating the good people on what it is you do, how you do it, how long you've been doing it, and the reason why, the purpose behind, and the importance of the
Hmm.
thing that you do, because it needs to be highlighted constantly uh, so people understand why uh, you're in the game that you in.
Hmm. I
So,
Hey,
appreciate that.
yeah,
give me 2 minutes, Glass, before you introduce me, okay?
I got you. I got you. Uh, So I've saved Rich for last. I don't know if I should jump in and ask him just yet because he got on a little earlier than what he usually does. But I'll, I'll wait for a second. Quickly, Brooks, how has your week been so far?
It's been a stressful week trying to get deals closed and work with companies to make sure everything is copacetic and build my life for the woman I love, for the lodge I love, for the craft I love, and just taking one day at a time. Lynn, I'm sorry for your
Yep.
loss, sir. Um, you still have the worst school on earth. This is the best school on earth here. Let us be clear.
Uh,
Uh,
but you see
much
how
love.
I manipulated you into wearing some headgear this week. You see how I did that?
I'm not even gonna lie. I totally thought about it too. I was
I
like,
know.
oh yeah,
I
gotta
know.
do it. So,
I got a PhD in human behavior.
you know what? You take your shrink psycho babble out of here, so, but
That's funny.
all is well. Grateful to be alive, and God is good.
I can dig it. I can dig it. All right, Wiggs, you back. See you seated.
Yeah, I would say on our introduction here, man, we have to thank God for what we have, because as my grandmother used to say, thank God for what you have, because you can't handle nobody else's issues. So everybody on this panel is truly blessed, and other people will pay to be in our position.
There you go. There you go. And last but not least, Rich.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Hopefully, Deuce is able to hop on a little bit later. Um, he got caught up at work. So one of the first things I want to start in on is, and you'll see how I tie this in later on. It'll make sense to everybody. Uh, the Save Act, the Voting Rights Act, that is once again making its headway uh, through various outlets, right? And we've talked about it a little bit, and I do have the actual document from Congress.gov. I have the bill. In the event there's any clarification that needs to be made about it, and I'll go through the required what it's requiring citizens to have in a bit. But before we do that, I just want to see where you all are with the Save Act, how you feel about it, what you think about it. Is it even actually needed, or is it just another performative stance in our theater of politics right about now? Right. So with that, Lynn, I'll start with you. Where are you at with the SAVE Act?
Do we need it? My short answer is no. And I say that because um, I don't see rampant voter fraud. And as a matter of fact, the last few articles I've read on it, it's been with Republicans voting multiple times. Like one guy mailed his ballot, then he voted in person in another state. And I've seen things like that, and I've seen people getting in serious trouble.
Yeah.
I know the rules. I know that if you are undocumented, you can't vote in presidential elections because that's really all the concern is with regard to this legislation. And you guys have heard me say this before. I don't buy into it's going to hurt black folks because all the black folks I know got ID.
Yeah.
And if you want to fly, you want to rent a car. And I was joking, if you want to get a mammogram, that's what you got to pull up with.
Some form of ID. Yeah.
ID. And this thing about the birth certificate having to match the passport, I don't think you need to take your birth certificate to the voting booth. I think you just need a picture of you with your name to match up what they have in the registry. That's what I see when I early vote.
Fair enough.
I think this is just I think he's using this legislation to then try to because if this gets passed, then how do we enforce it? On election day. You know what? I think we need to have troops at election places. So once again, I think the workaround for that is early voting. Because election day poll places are not necessarily the same as early voting polling places.
Right.
Like when I early vote, I can vote at 90 different places. But on election day, I got one place I can go. And you're not posting up troops at 90 different places during early voting. You're going to have troops in place on election day.
Yeah.
So I just see it as he's taking it this serious, so then you can add that other piece. You can drop that other shoe if it indeed passes.
Yeah.
Now you can drop the shoe that, we got to enforce it now. Now that this is the law of the land, we got to enforce this. Troops.
Right.
Troops at the polling places. Or ICE or whatever.
Hey, Wig, I think you got some background noise. If you can.
Okay, my bad.
No, you're good. Turn it down just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, a lot. A ton. All right. Rich, where are you at on it?
I want to see what you pull up and what we read first before I say it.
All right. Well, I wanted to try and get ahead just to, if there's anything we got to clarify. But point taken. I understand. Wig, how about you?
I think that it's a solution in search of a problem.
Wait, say that again?
I think that it's a solution in search of.
Oh no.
Connection drop. He said he thinks there you are. You back. All right, say that one more time.
I think that it's a solution in search of a problem.
I see. I see.
Because at the end of the day, how I see it is take my glasses off. How I see it is that they don't complain when they win. He actually sees the writing on the wall for the midterms. It's not just about the presidential. He has to see the writing on the wall for the midterm. He knows that that he's 9 times out of 10 he's going to be impeached with some of his other cabinet.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, when, the states that he won, he doesn't have a problem with. The state that he lose, somebody cheated him. So this is a solution in search of a problem. Everybody on this panel knows that if you're undocumented, you can't vote. It ain't like you can go and get food stamps and all that stuff there. And I paid attention to Texas. I don't know who's in Texas on this panel.
I'm in
I
Texas.
paid attention to Texas, and I truly believe that the reason Crockett lost is because of the redistricting.
Now, let me help you out with that. Crockett lost because people that look like me, there's 1 million of us in Harris County, which is the largest county in Texas. And we didn't come out and vote for her. And she lost by 144,000 votes.
Was that the small that was the margin?
144,000, yeah.
So
Wow.
with that being said, do you think that it had anything to do with people showing up to certain places to vote and they had to go somewhere else to vote?
That happened in Dallas. That did trip things up. And if that hadn't happened, she may have still won. But the Harris County, if every black person in Harris County that was registered to vote had voted for her, she would have won by a landslide.
That's what I was thinking. But at the end of the day, I think it's a
Less than
solution.
200,000. She got, I think, 179,000 out of 1 million.
Yeah. I just out of 1 million. Wow.
We are. Look, I'm gonna tell you, we are the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, we generally turn out for presidents, bro, but we don't turn out for midterms.
And now what happens is if you're going to stay a Democrat, you got to now roll with Tallarico.
Yep.
Exactly.
I want to see. Hold on 1 second. You said she lost by 179,000 votes?
No. She got 179,000 black votes in Harris County.
Out of 1 million.
How many votes did she lose by?
144,000.
So she lost only by 144,000?
Yep. Now the shenanigans in Dallas, you know, the shenanigans in Dallas,
you send us that
made
link.
it real close.
Can you send us that link if you have time? That she lost only by 144,000?
Yeah, I have to find it. It's actually in the group chat. But
you know what? I'll keep looking for it. Y'all keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, guys, I just think that the SAVE Act is a solution looking for a problem.
No, I agree. I agree.
That's what
it's not necessary because voter fraud is 0.03%.
So
but this is what you do when you're in power. You direct people to the exception, and they take their eye off of the rule.
Because they don't want to call it a poll tax, but in reality, it's a 20th century poll tax. Is what it is.
Well,
so
from where I sit, where I wouldn't have to do anything. And this is the way I've always voted. I've always presented my ID at the polling place.
And most of the time we go to the polling place. I know down here in Florida, me and my wife go vote. I don't take out nothing but my ID.
That's it. You don't have to have your ID and your birth certificate. That's what I think people are running away with and misinterpreting this legislation. I think that if you, the way I've read it, basically nothing would change for what I do. I wouldn't have to change a thing if this legislation passed versus what I've been doing here in Texas, which is showing up, voting early, showing my ID. They match it up to what their system says. You know, and they ask me, "Do you still live at this address?" Yes, I do. Sign here and go in that booth.
But this is the last thing, Glass. This is the biggest problem that I see with it. So if you let the federal government pass this and say this is what you need to vote, where's the separation of church and state?
How does the church play?
I'm just saying it as a church. There's always a separation. I'll rephrase it. Where's the separation of the state and the federal government? Because the state's supposed to run their own elections, and if some states don't want you to have ID, if some states want you to just give blood, then that's on that state. But if you have the federal government stepping in and saying this is what you got to do, now we have a national election, not ran by states.
And listen, this may only be for federal elections.
Yeah, and so before
state-controlled elections.
Yeah, before we get there, Brooks, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back with you. I don't know what happened, but personally, I think it should require ID for everything. If I go buy a pack of cigarettes, I got to show my ID. Now I have like some gray hair, or more like I got Lee the White instead of Lee the Gray. And so I still sometimes have to show my ID if I cut my hair and I look like 32 again. And if I do my taxes, still gotta like take a picture of my ID. If I went to the DMV, I told this story for my birthday, February 8th. And I had to bring some forms of like, oh yes, I live here in Sunnyvale. Here's my rental agreement because here's my ID. I don't see what the problem is. I don't get why everybody's so up in arms. They're like, oh, we shouldn't show ID. Because you should, right? If we drive, you have to have a driver's license. If you fly now, you have to have a real ID. Like, this is the way of the world now. And suck it up, Buttercup. You know, you got to just do it now and quit complaining. And it's voting. It's not like it's some, I'm going to go buy, like if you buy alcohol, you still have to show your ID. You're voting for the next leader of either the nation or whatever your state. Show your ID. I don't see an issue about it. I think it's an excuse.
And you know what?
When the gentleman said impeach Trump again, work out for the Democratic Party last time.
Right.
You know, like nonsense. People are tired of that nonsense. It didn't work out for them. Matter of fact, it got Trump elected again. It's ridiculous. Like they try the same old playbook, same old tactic. Go ahead.
No, you good, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, like same old tactic that failed them, that got Trump elected back again. Enough. It's not going to work again. People are over it. We were like, you realize that's exactly what you tried to do, and you still failed.
Can I ask a quick question?
Show your ID. Sure, of course.
We all know people that have told us that they didn't vote, right?
Of course, yeah.
Has anyone ever said I didn't vote because I didn't have an ID? Have you ever heard that as a reason for not voting?
No, not that I've ever heard.
I've never heard.
That I've ever heard.
And I've been voting more than half my life. But
same thing.
The reason for not voting,
now, and I'm like,
I've never heard being, I would have voted. I wanted to vote for so and so, but I didn't have an ID, man, so I couldn't.
Right, and so you still have to show it. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think that like people were like, it's fear for the sake of fear, which is weird because like, wait a minute, you get an ID to drive if you drive a car around. You got your insurance. You got your driver's license. You have your everything it takes to drive. Like there's no reason to be fearful of it.
I've heard you need ID to get into Magic City. Is that true, Richard?
No.
Is that true, Richard? To get the lemon pepper wings,
Well,
the Lou Williams lemon pepper wings.
Well, I'm gonna say,
wow.
I don't think you do, bro. I don't think you do. Money.
Listen, places here in Houston, you need ID to roll up into the gentleman's club.
Yeah.
Real talk.
So good example, gentlemen. If I go to the Matrix Casino, which is right across my office, just to buy a pack of cigarettes, right?
Uh-huh.
I have to provide my ID, which if I go to a gas station, I don't. But if I go to the Matrix every single time, the lady it's a running joke when I buy a pack of cigarettes. She's all like, Lee, I need you to see your ID. And even though she knows my name, seen me there countless of times. Not that I smoke. Well, I do smoke cigarettes every day, so can't really say it. I don't.
She's on camera, Brooks.
But
yeah,
that's okay.
So she has to do that.
Okay.
She's on camera.
Yeah, but that's exactly my point. You like have a driver's license to get on a plane or anything like that because it's okay. Because if you legitimately have your ID, this is not really an issue of that should be like blown up into the public. This is like a issue.
Well,
really
let me
is.
throw this
You
let me
both
throw this out there. Let me throw this out there.
okay.
One of the concerns about this is primarily for women, right? So if a woman relocates from her current residence where she's registered to vote to a new state and she goes to register the vote in a federal election and her they're looking for identification to verify that she is who she says she is. If she's been married within a certain amount of time, that could cause an issue. It
Is
could
it just
cause.
because of the marriage
So wait a minute,
aspect?
hold on. Hey, wait a
Because
minute, wait a minute.
like
Hey, hold on a second.
okay.
This is if you don't see me talking fast, that means I'm on my heels. I think we have to do this one step at a time. The first issue is, do we believe on the first step that we should have to show our birth certificate or citizenship? That's on the first step.
Well, we answered that
We
2 weeks ago.
okay.
Yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Whoever's watching this show, to show that we are credible individuals, we should go back to that first step and say, do we think voting in America, as you stated, Mr. Glass, in federal elections, do we have to show, or should we have to show our either birth certificate, which has no picture ID, or your passport, which would have a picture ID?
Should
Because-
we have to? Is the question.
Right. So right, because on that SAVE Act that made it out of the House, that allegedly sits now in the Senate, that's dead on arrival because they don't have enough votes to pass it. The first thing is the birth certificate or the passport. Do we have to show our citizenship in this country to vote? That's the first thing. And then the second step was, do we have to show photo ID?
But before you continue, like the both IDs, like so citizenship or passport, are you saying? Because I think it should be passport or ID, right? That has your picture on.
No, stop.
Wait,
Stop.
wait,
Hold
You
on a
can have
second.
your birth certificate.
Hold on. Wait, Mr.
Okay.
Brooks. Hold on, Mr. Brooks. If you
Okay.
look this up, because we want to be credible, because this is too important. This is voting in this country. On the very first thing on that SAVE Act that the Senate has to pass, the very first issue regarding citizenship, it states from what they passed out of the House, either you have to show your birth certificate or your passport. I'm gonna stop right there because to make sure I said it correctly. On the very first thing that they're they have to agree on in the Senate. So he has the bill up. Okay.
Yeah. And so what the bill is saying, essentially, it's speaking to what you're talking about. Section 2 starts out saying ensuring only citizens are registered to vote in elections for federal office being the primary target. Federal elections. I don't want anyone to lose sight of this being specifically for federal elections, right? And it goes through and it begins to talk about what's being changed or what's being struck through as used, and inserting in general as used, and by adding at the end the following. So it begins to go through the different types of documents. Documentary proof of United States citizenship. As used in this act, the term documentary proof of United States citizenship means with respect to an applicant for voter registration, any of the following: a form of identification issued consistent with the requirements of the Real ID Act of 2005 that indicates the applicant is a citizen of the United States, a valid United States passport, the applicant's official United States military identification card, together with a United States military record of service showing that the applicant's place of birth was in the United States.
Oh, wait. Go back
Yep.
up to one for a second, please.
Yeah.
Back up to one for a second. A form of identification issued consistent. This is your quote birth certificate. A form of identification issued consistent with the requirements for a real ID. To get a real ID, you have to have a birth certificate. That's where your birth certificate comes into play at.
So I haven't gotten. Oh, you know what? You are at least in Kentucky. I can speak for Kentucky because yes, when I went to get my real ID and I haven't finished the process yet. I did have to have my birth certificate and another form of ID in order to prove that I was a U.S.
Like says like you have your PG&E in California at that specific residence.
Wait
Yeah.
a minute. Oh, well, hold on. You know what, Mr. Brooks? That's a great point. But see, this is a little tricky. And that's why I'm not talking so fast. because the first thing that he's trying to zero home, the president, is that he wants to say that you are a U.S. citizen either through your birth certificate or your passport. And even to get a passport, you have to still produce a birth certificate.
Yeah, you've got to send your birth certificate in.
So the birth certificate, ironically, states that you're a U.S. citizen because it says where you were born at for most case purposes.
Yeah.
The passport, ironically, though, will have your picture ID on it. So the reason why I'm saying that about that very first step, because I thought the second step was once you show that at the voting booth, now they want you to show a photo ID in addition to your proof of citizenship. Well, your proof of citizenship, if you use as a passport, would have a picture ID already on it. So I kind of thought that was kind of weird, but
I agree. I do think that's weird because in order, like you just said, specifically, I just want to make sure that this point is fluid. In order to get outside of having a military issued passport, you have to send your birth certificate, the original, into the post office along with your application, right? And it can't be a photocopy or anything of that nature. It can't be all taped up and stuff. Look, not recently, but I got mine, and that's the process. I did it when I was in California. That's the process I had to take, and I was nervous because I was using my original birth certificate. It wasn't one that I ordered from the state building or anywhere else. It was my original birth certificate, and so it's seen some time, right? And so I was nervous that it would have been torn up and ripped up, but it came back fine. So your passport is a validation of having a birth certificate and being born in the United States of America. And so to have both is a bit of a redundancy.
No. You're saying either you can have one or the other.
Okay.
Right. But even if your birth certificate has some wear and tear, you should always have a second one, a certified one with a raised seal. Well, for the state of Missouri, that's how Missouri does it. For the state of Missouri.
And I also
think you're removing the whole bill aspect of a whole residency, PG&E.
No, that's the next step. Hold on, Mr. Brooks. That's the next step we're going to get to.
Yeah.
So we take this in steps. First, we have to show our citizenship. Then we have to show a photo ID. Then we have to be able to prove, like you said, that a bill or something. That's another step.
At the voting booth?
Hold on. This is why I said, Lynn, this is why I said this is a little tricky. And that's why I said I want him to pull this up. Because when y'all talked about this months ago, I kept going over and over and over. And I was trying not to get confused on what they passed out of the House to get to the Senate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe you need proof of a utility bill at the voting booth. I think
get the real ID. I did.
Well, okay. Well, then see, that's what you're taking to the voting booth, the real ID.
Okay.
So you go, you get your real ID, you take that to the voting booth, but you're not taking, like with the problem that they were talking about, Jay Glass, with the women.
Yeah.
If the woman has a passport or a driver's license, that's a real ID that matches what is there in her voter registration.
Keyword.
If those two things pair up.
If they match.
She's fine. And I've lived that too because my wife's name changed 9 years ago. And we've been voting in all those 9 years and we've never had an issue. So when she got her name changed, it automatically sent that information to voter registration, and voter registration sent a new card for her to the house.
Okay. Well, I think you're right, and I think Mr. Brooks is right, because some people, their address and their driver's license is not how they're registered to vote. So I think Mr. Brooks is right too by playing it safe and bringing in a bill in case you think
what they ask here in Texas is, are you still living at so and so address?
Right.
And you say yes or no.
Yeah. But I think both of you are right, because what both of you are saying is we're not gonna give anyone any excuse to deny us. So both of you are playing it really safe and going down the line so there's no confusion, and I think that's great.
But here's the question though. We're doing all this because of voter fraud.
You beat me to the punch. You beat me to the punch because yes, this provision. So this is the actual update, right? Since January of 2026. The bottom line behind this, right? The bottom line up front is to ensure only American citizens are voting in our federal elections. Now, to Lynn's point prior, the margin of undocumented or people who have made a mistake or fictitious or fraudulent voting or anything of that nature is so negligible that it wouldn't have any actual effect on an outcome at the federal level regardless.
Medicare would love to have that fraud rate.
The federal
Yeah.
level, but there have been literally documented counts of people who are not living, they're not with us anymore. God rest
Sure.
their souls.
And so again,
Who
even
live-
with that being said, the amount of quote unquote voter fraud, right? And it has to, you got to get nailed, you got to drill down to the specifics of what happened in each case. But the amount
100%.
in totality, even if it's a person who's no longer with us, if it's a person who because this was a case out in California, if it's a person who registered their dog to be able to vote, right? Taking all of this into consideration, the amount of voter fraud, right? Putting all of that under the banner of voter fraud is so negligible
It's fractional.
So
that it
wait a
still
minute.
would move the change in the federal election.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
Uh,
This is where I'm gonna have to agree. I'm agreeing with everybody tonight because it's
left
tricky.
my notebook upstairs. I was teaching
And,
my son
and I
math.
think Mr. Brooks is making a valid point. But I also know that you're making a valid point too about is it enough fraud to really matter? Here's what I would say: if one person voted illegally, that's enough. But you say in a federal, because in a county or a city, one
That's
vote
different.
or a state that can change. In
Sure.
a federal, well, hold on. In a federal, it should not happen like that. Here's where I think Mr. Wig is getting at. They got it to the Senate, but one of the things that I don't think is part of this current SAVE Act is about one-day voting. Because if you only allow, if you stop, I think stop the mail ballot. I'm not sure if that's part of this SAVE Act for the Senate.
I think it is. I think that's in there too.
Okay, so we'll have to keep reading about that one, the stop the mail ballot and one-day voting. Because if that's the case, then Mr. Wig is making a great point. That's going to hinder. Who would that hinder the most? People in inner cities.
Look, if you're going to take away my early voting, then you got to make Election Day a holiday.
But here's the thing though. This is one thing that they did that I didn't like. So if you do mail-in voting, you go to mail your vote in. Normally, when you take it to the post office, they stamp it right there. You're good to go.
Yep.
But they changed it to say, okay, no, that
Yep.
it doesn't get stamped received until it gets to the processing center.
Oh, it's worse than that, Wig. It may not. That's what always gets you. It
Right.
may not be postmarked
Well,
right away.
wait.
Some cases it is.
So
Some cases it isn't. So now it's a gamble.
So in that case, when we talk about the SAVE Act, that's why I say it's a solution in search of a problem. Because if we're looking at it in that sense, how are we not trying to disenfranchise people from voting?
Well, wait. Let's go back to that one-day voting and stopping mail-in ballots. I want to see what that says here about each state. No, you had to go back up. Go back up for a second, where it said that the states who allow early voting. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Right here.
In the
So
case of a state
let's-
which permits
let me make sure that I show where we're
Okay.
reading. So this
Gotcha.
is presenting proof of United States citizenship to election official. An applicant who submits the mail voter registration application form prescribed by the Election Assistance Commission pursuant to Section 9 parentheses A 2 or form described in paragraph 1 or 2 of subsection A shall not be registered to vote. Shall not be registered to vote in an election for federal office unless the applicant presents documentary proof of the United States citizen in person to the office of the appropriate election official no later than the deadline provided by state law for the receipt of a completed voter registration application for the election, or in the case of a state which permits an individual to register to vote in an election for federal office at a polling place on the day of the election and on any day when voting, including early voting, is permitted for the election, the applicant presents documentary proof of United States citizenship to the appropriate election official at the polling place no later than the date of the election. And so that's a lot.
Sir Glass, can we go around the room and ask where each other are in each state and like what rules are there, so that way we know what each state, where at least represented on this call, their rules are.
So that, sure. So
I'm in Texas.
And
me and Mr. Brooks is in California.
Yeah, so we got Texas, California, Florida, and Kentucky, right? So those are the three states.
California, now, you bring your ID, right? A fellow other Californian. I'm not a Californian. I refuse to say that I am. I'm Ohioan. But like I play on their team. I'm not from their town. You bring your ID. You get the piece of ballot paper. You fill out all the dots. You go to the machine and you vote, right? So all I have to do is bring my valid ID and they check it and yada yada. What happens in Texas?
No, wait, no, hold on. You're speaking too fast because I don't vote like that. I vote by mail.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
So no, it's fine. I'm not trying to yell at you or anything. So what Mr. Wig is saying about, it seems like this could be a way to cause a problem. People who vote by mail, and then you guys have already discussed that when you mail something in regards to voting, they're not going to count it till they get it to the processing center for the date. So if you wait till November 2nd of this year to vote, it may be considered late and they don't want to count that vote. So you don't want to wait till the last day. If anything, you want to fill out your mail-in ballot and then drive it to the place, to the voting booth and turn it in. And turn it in early if possible. Don't wait till the day.
Why would you ever want to vote by mail? And that's a question I'm asking because I lived in Vermont. I've lived in Ohio. Now I live in California.
So
because how would you ever know that if your vote actually got there?
Hold on, Mr. Brooks. Sometimes I agree with you and sometimes I disagree. Number one, in the state of California, they want everyone to vote. When you vote by mail, they'll send you an email saying, we got your vote. We got your mail ballot as of this date. And then when they count your vote, they say, as of this date, we counted your vote. That's transparency. That's fantastic for the state of California on that aspect. I vote by mail.
That's exactly what I was saying. I needed to hear that.
But let me tell you the rest of the reason why I vote by mail. I vote by mail because I photocopy my vote. The envelope, my signature on the envelope, how I voted. And now I got a transparent record for life. So I can't come on here and yell at Lynn and say, well, Lynn, how did you vote? Unless I can show verbatim, like he said, Crockett lost by 144,145. And you know I was looking it up. And he's absolutely right. So I can show you verbatim from 2012 up to now how I voted in every general and special election, off year and even year, every time.
Okay.
So, and by doing that, when I ask these congressmen to show me how they vote, or I ask a leader to show me how they voted for something, how can I ask you, Mr. Brooks, to show me how you voted for something unless I can verify my own mouth?
But that's why I'd go into we're
at. Are you taking pictures? Are you taking
Brother
pictures
Glass
of how you voted?
Brother Glass knows that we go and I think you, James, correct me if I'm wrong. We voted at our lodge, which we have voting polls there, right? And I show my ID, easy, beautiful, breezy cover girl kind of style.
Do you have an email folder? But Mr. Brooks, if you ask me,
wait, say again one more time.
If you ask me, Mr. Brooks, did you really vote for Obama in 2012? I can go back into my email folder and pull out that entire ballot from 2012 and show you where I voted for President Obama. And then I can show you where I voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary later years down the road. And I can show you where I voted for Democrats, Republicans, Independents, and Green Party. So I can verify my mouth when I say I am not attached. I don't give one party all my votes. It's for verification. So when you go in that voting booth, I don't know how you voted. You could tell me you voted for Kamala Harris. I don't know if you did or not because you can't show me the picture of how you voted.
Oh, but like I can tell you as a friend, for Mr. Glass, Brother Glass, I can tell him as a brother, and I don't believe in lying to my brothers. Like I can just say, hey, this is why I voted for this person. This is why I voted for that person.
You know what?
If we become friends, please. I can tell you truthfully, like what I voted for in what year. I lived in Vermont.
But
I lived in Ohio and I lived in California. I think I've made a smile around America about my life experience about like super far liberal and then super far like Republican and then super far liberal again in a different way. And I think that's important because like you've got to see like I love politics. I love it because like you realize that like there are really different people everywhere and you got to learn from them. And everybody has such a different ideology of things. There's a reason why Ohio has the most US presidents ever. Think about it. Because it's the heart of it all.
But Mr. Brooks.
It's the heart of it all.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes, sir.
If you can't show me in writing what you did, I don't care how much you tell me what you did. When I show you in writing what I did, it's kind of like a woman saying, Richard, you say that you love me. Until I have a piece of paper with your name, my name, and we're married together, it don't mean shit.
So you're saying because I didn't meet you 20 years ago and like I voted for somebody, what I said doesn't matter?
Because dude, I can't prove that you did that. Listen to this. In the founding of this country, when the Europeans came over here, when the Native Americans did not have land treaty or land titles for their land because they said all the land belongs to the creator, the Europeans said, well, if you ain't got no land title, I'm going to take this land from you with my musket and I'm going to title it and say it's mine. In this country, if
so
you don't
you're really saying because like I didn't know you until this year, or like, we're developing a friendship.
You ain't never lied.
Then you're saying because I didn't know you, all my votes, because you can get to question because like my non-experience and according to you?
No.
I think we're running away from the actual subject.
We are. Wait
a minute. Wait. Here's the quick thing about this. The only thing that bothers me is about if he eliminates mail-in ballots. Because a lot of people like me are photocopying how they vote. So we can tell you how we voted. I don't have to say, well, I voted for this. I don't know how President Trump won.
I believe the exception is disabled or elderly.
Well,
I don't believe they're going to go away totally. It's going to be disability, which you have to prove.
But I think it's up. Wait a minute. If we go back up here, it's left up to the state on how they want to do the mail-in ballot, I thought.
Well, let me read it. Each state shall, in consultation with the Election Assistance Commission, ensure that reasonable accommodations are made to allow an individual with a disability who submits the mail voter registration application form prescribed by the Election Assistance Commission pursuant to subsection yada yada yada. The form described in paragraph 1 and 2 of subsection presents documentary proof of United States citizenship to the appropriate election official. Right? So that's pretty much saying the same thing. They still got to show some form of proof
that they're disabled.
That they can't make it out. So it's there's nothing in this that, like Lynn was saying, is going to make me change the way that I vote. It's not.
You know what? Here's a statement I want to make real quick. I want this to pass so it can become the law of the land, so that when they lose, this is no longer fraud is off the table.
Wait,
This is
Lynn,
what we have
can
to
you say
do for
who's
you to make
they?
it,
Who's
because
they?
this only
Lynn?
happens when you lose. This is
Can
only,
you say who's they?
huh?
Republicans.
Republicans.
Democrats or Republicans?
No,
Can you
Republicans.
say who?
I have yet to see
I think
a Democratic.
that's why your
Hold on,
University
Brooks.
of
Hold on, Brooks. Let him finish.
USC, and that's why Ohio State. You're going to lose this argument, sir.
I'm
Hold
not making
on.
an
I like
argument.
you. You're a
I'm
good
Hold on,
not
dude.
going to argue.
Like you're a good dude. You're going to lose this.
I'm
Hold
not
on,
here to
Brooks.
You're going to
argue.
lose this. I
Brooks,
think you're going to lose.
Brooks. It's not. That's not the argument that he's trying to make.
I'm saying pass the damn law so fraud is off the chessboard.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
agree.
saying.
100%.
That's
Now,
what I'm saying.
I understand
But
the pivot
the
that you want to
person
get.
complaining about voter fraud at the highest level right now is a Republican. Is that fact or fiction?
That's 100% fact.
All right, then I didn't lose a thing, bro.
Yeah,
No,
and so
I give you guff in an affectionate way of like, about USC, even though I don't really like USC. But I'm telling you, like, I think the Democrats are going to lose this argument. It's a stupid argument.
that's not. But that's not.
Pardon my language. It's a dumb argument.
It's really not an argument. It's really not an argument, and here's why. And I understand what you think. The reason why is because right now national polling is showing the Republicans down. National polling, and that's the fact of the situation right now, right? You've got more Democrats that are actually pushing tenured Republicans out of seats than normal. There are more red territories that are beginning to turn blue than normal, and there's a reason for that. And that reason is what I'm about to pivot to after I ask this question. Would the SAVE Act actually end up changing any votes for the midterms?
So I'm going to go back to the mail thing. I'm looking at another site. I think we read that wrong. The bill says it would prohibit accepting a mail registration as complete unless the applicant presents proof of citizenship in person to an election office, meaning a mailed application. Meaning a mailed application without an in-person follow-up would not register the voter. Meaning a mailed application without an in-person follow-up. So I can still send a mail ballot, because in order to even to have gotten it, I had to prove who I was here in the state of California.
Right. And so
I should still be able to mail it in.
Yeah.
Because that's important.
And so.
And I know about that. So
I don't think that this would make much of a difference. I think it will actually disenfranchise more Republicans, more people on the Republican side than what it would on the Democratic side, unfortunately.
If you have people in the city, such as myself, and I'm not in the black city, if you have people in the city voting by mail, and then what President Trump wants to do is say, you can't vote by mail and everybody has to vote in one day, and you're not even going to make it a holiday, the way Lynn keeps saying, make it a national holiday. And then all the people in the city, you will have to have so many voting polls. You would have to increase your voting polls, because you'd have so many people like myself who've been voting by mail for years, having to go in and stand in line. And what happens in the, quote, chocolate cities, once they set those polls up and once it's closing time, they're going to say, well, too bad, we're closing. They're going to say, well, we're already in line. And then they're going to have all those hassles about, was you already in line when it closed at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night? Because if you're in line,
you can go.
Yeah, if you're
hold
in
on.
line, you're good.
Wait a minute, Mr. Brooks. That's the way it should be. But if you go back in the past, and I want to say it was in 2008 in the city of St. Louis, that chocolate city, 50 white, 50 black, there were black folks trying to vote for Barack Obama, and they were standing in line and they were not allowed to vote. So that is somewhat of a way. And that's why I said tonight, I'm kind of agreeing with everybody on their points. And I think it's a little tricky.
Yes.
So I looked up the part that I did not agree with this. And this is what I think a strategy might end up being in the future, right? Each state shall take affirmative steps on an ongoing basis to ensure that only United States citizens are registered to vote under the provisions of this act, which shall include the establishment of a program described in paragraph 4, which is up previously, no later than 30 days after the date of the enactment of this subsection. That 30 days per state to essentially mold itself into this act and essentially establish an SOP, a standard order procedure, operational procedure, according to this act, would be almost impossible. And so I think that might be one of the small cliffhangers that are set aside and out there to kind of trip voters up. Now, if that becomes the case, right, and we look at voter suppression, is that a tactic that they are actually engaging in? And the reason why I asked that is to segue over to this. We tried to establish last week the reason or reasons why America is, per the president's words, at war with Iran. Right? If we go back to one of the justifications for this being liberation, while we are tactically stonewalling voting, well, then what type of liberation are we able to give to any other sovereign country at that point? If we are engaging in a form of suppression, voter suppression, what moral or foundational right do we have to liberate a people under a foreign flag? Brooks, I'll let you bite on that one first.
Question, I look at it like this, and I'm not adverse to saying stuff how I feel. I must pretty much say stuff how I feel. Through all this, Iran chose the son of the, I guess, executed,
The late Ayatollah.
Supreme, as the new leader, which, if you realize, and everybody knows on this call, that's not going to work. That's only going to continue this, and they're going to go after him, and we all know it. It's true. Like, there's got to be a way out of this. Like, there's got to be something better.
No.
And go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was thinking out loud. That's not how. That's not how.
That's fine.
That's not how Iran works. And the streets are saying that the son is worse than the father.
Yeah,
that's
what I read.
That's exactly my point. Like, they chose the son, which is like stupid. So we did all this, and then the son gets chosen again. It's dumb.
Look,
and then so we got it. Go ahead,
Brooks. I got an idea. You know, it might not be that popular among certain people. How about we mind our own business?
I put breaking news just so you can say that. I knew where you were going.
How about that? That generally version, you know, they generally say if you put your top lip and your bottom lip together, and you can shut the fuck up and mind your own business. Mind your own business.
Yep.
That generally works. Then you don't have to worry about getting out of nobody's mess.
For people to allow the continuance of evil and do nothing, and that's how evil persists.
Well, let me ask this. With that being said, my dear brother, has there been evil happening over the course of the last year in America?
Iran bombing their own people. Yeah.
No, he's talking about
in America. In America.
No. I mean, like, we can't switch the subject because, like, all of a sudden the argument changes.
No. I'm not switching the subject. I'm asking the question based
been
off
bombing their own people. That's why they were so pissed off of them. Like, no, like, eventually it's got to stop.
But you don't see the hypocrisy in that. You don't see the hypocrisy in that, because I know a couple of times that America has bombed that it was done by Americans.
I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not at all.
Nor am I.
I'm just saying, like, hey, like, this is what they were doing. this is why we stepped in. Actually, I think like we didn't expect the drones over $20,000 to be a nuisance. And they are.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you consider cutting health care for millions of Americans evil?
Well, in California or what? Or Ohio?
And Americans, just Americans in general. Would you consider cutting health care? Better yet, I won't even look at health care. Would you consider cutting SNAP benefits that kids depend on?
And
I would have to like know more about SNAP benefits to be honest to answer the question. But like if you're working and you're eligible for healthcare benefits, you get your healthcare benefits. Again, like you get it, you earned it. You're great, awesome. I would have to like,
Okay. Well, then let me ask you a further question. Would you consider a leadership that would place its own citizens purposely in poverty evil?
What do you mean, like North Korea?
Sure.
I think North Korea is a poor leadership. Yeah, like if you look at what they're doing to their population versus like what they give to the military, yeah, that's pretty bad, dude. Like,
yeah, and so we can agree that leadership who purposely place certain segments of their population in dire strains are evil.
I think you can't have a holistic, like one size fits all. You got to look at like specific use cases, technically.
Okay. Well, then I'll give you a specific case. Would you consider a federal and local government that cooperates with the federal government who purposely sprays their town with carcinogens evil?
I don't know where you're referring to.
Doesn't matter where. Would you consider that action from that government evil?
So, like Iowa, my friends from Iowa, where they spray the crops and everything like that.
No, I'm not talking about
Iowa.
crops.
Wait. Like I'm answering your question.
Okay.
Some of my friends from Iowa hate it, right? They're like, we don't want you to spray like or like crop dust, like in the beginning of Independence Day, right, where the grandfather was a drunk and he sprayed the wrong field, and like where they're supposed to like take care of everything, right? If the spray was supposed to be for X field, okay. But I wouldn't say that because like the old grandpa in the movie sprayed the wrong field.
But let's get back to my question. Would you say
I thought I answered it pretty
that you didn't
correctly.
listen to what I'm saying? Would you say that a government who cooperates with their local officials that purposely, knowingly, and intentionally spray certain segments of a community with known carcinogens is evil? Would you consider that act evil?
You would have to say who, where.
I'm not going to say
and
who.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, if evil,
that's fine. But then I will be at the same level that you are in your question.
Okay.
And be like, because otherwise I wouldn't know in context to what you're asking.
That is the context. That's the full context. That's literally the full context.
My bro, I get it, but again, I wouldn't say unless I know who, specific, what. I'm not going to say challenge them or him or them or her until I understand what you're specifically saying.
So what it sounds like,
Jay, change the question to Iran doing that.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. That's a perfect example. Let's say that the previous Ayatollah knowingly went into Tehran and knowingly and purposely sprayed their population with known carcinogens, knowing and watch, simply observed the actions of these individuals over multiple decades, as well as family members, to see how it would affect them. Would you consider
How realistic is that? Like, Tehran to
Hey, Jay, can I
saying-
take a crack at it?
Iran?
Yeah,
wait,
absolutely.
wait. You
No,
asked me a
no,
question.
Mr.
Let me
Brooks,
finish,
Mr.
please.
Brooks, Mr. Brooks. Here's a yes or no question. Would you consider
No.
the
I'm
Ayatollah-
smart
would you
enough to
consider
like
the
actually
Ayatollah
have a
killing
voice?
30,000 protesters evil?
Right.
Yes or no?
Ayatollah killing 30,000 protesters is absolutely evil.
There we go.
That's what I'm saying.
You see the problem there, Jay?
Yeah, because
It
now
has to be Iran.
yeah,
Iran is doing it.
No,
It's
that's
evil.
actually
because now
Brother Glass asked me. It was like a
I know.
hypothetical for
I
a
know.
different government.
it
So
wasn't a
I just-
hypothetical.
I
Spin
just
it
cut to
into
the facts.
a specific. You're incorrect to spin it into a. So
I
let me
know.
finish, please.
Yeah.
What
That
I'm
was a yes or
saying
no question.
is like, stop it. Let me finish.
It was yes or no. That's where it stops.
No, it's not. Actually, if a country, leaders of a country, want to abuse their people by spraying, or abuse another country by spraying X, Y, or Z into that other country,
Donald Trump's timeline for
That's
the war
wrong.
continues to be
Either way-
all over the place. Earlier, he said the war would end soon because there's, quote, practically
We,
we have to stop that. Well, you know what spread.
you breaking up on us a little bit, Brooks. Are you there? I think you walk.
Country it is.
Hey,
Stop
say
it.
that again. If you walk and your connection dropped on us a little bit.
Oh, okay. If any other country sprayed X, Y, or Z,
You get. He's not back yet.
Y, or
'Cause
Z
I-
country.
All right,
No.
if you're
not
moving,
okay.
if you're moving around, your signal is dropping because we couldn't hear what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
That's why you just got to
I'm
answer
coming
yes
back.
or
Hey,
no.
guys. I'm walking back to near my place. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
If any country sprays X, Y, or Z compound into any other country, and it's ill-willed or poor and negligent, like horrible for the either earth or the environment, the air, or the people, or the water, no, you got to stop that. That's just not okay. You literally have to stop that, because then you could look at like future generations of like being poisoned. When
Is it evil?
my friend talked to me about Chernobyl, and he was from the area, 100% it's evil.
That was the question.
Yeah, you got to
was the
stop
question.
that. You can't have it.
That was the question.
Yeah, and so by that definition, America
Yeah,
should
you
have
got- you
somebody
got-
come. But by that definition, America should have someone come and intervene between its people and its government, because we're not liberated.
What do you mean?
So there in St. Louis, there was a community that was frequently sprayed with multiple different types of carcinogens back in the day, purposely, knowingly, and intentionally by our federal government, and our local legislatures knew about it as well. And they allowed it to happen for the purposes of observation. Now, just to be clear, this area was predominantly Black. And they wanted to see what would happen throughout the generations, right?
Hold on a second. Wait. One quick question.
Yeah.
Was this during the same time period that the U.S. government allowed the Tuskegee experiment on Black males?
So actually, that was a different time period. So
Oh, I'm sorry. That was another time period. Okay, so we have two outliers. Okay.
Outliers. Yeah. And so what I'm trying to make the correlation with is Americans become so, and this isn't directed at you, Brooks, but Americans become morally fulfilled, like morally pompous when talking about quote unquote liberation of another country. But when we talk about liberating our own people from our own tyrannical government or government that happens to be tyrannical at specific times, well, then it becomes subjective. Evil becomes horribly subjective. And if we're going by those definitions and those terms that are being set forth by Americans in general, we should have intervention, maybe from Russia, maybe from China. We need to have some type of foreign intervention to correct our government and liberate our people.
Oh, wait,
and
Mr. Glass.
And sanction us. We should
Hold
be
on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hey, well, hold on, Mr. Glass. Obviously, you didn't study history because you and I and Lynn and maybe Mr. Brooks, our families just brought over here off of Manifest Destiny. So I don't understand. I'm confused.
I didn't mean to laugh at that, but yes.
I'm just I'm confused. Oh, and then if we don't, one quick thing about what
we were
saying.
talking about the ability to vote, having the appropriate ID or appropriate credentials to vote as either a black man, white woman, black woman, Italian, whatever.
Yeah.
And I personally think, bring your freaking paperwork. So freaking what? We do this all the time. It shouldn't be an issue.
Mr. Brooks, I told you at the very beginning of this conversation, I have kind of agreed with everyone. I said I think you make some valid points. I know Lynn's making some valid points, and so is Mr. Glass, and so is Mr. Wigg. What we're trying to get you to do possibly is entertain the fact that yes, you are right, but are you completely? You're being right on righteous grounds, Mr. Brooks. I believe that you are coming across on righteousness' sake. Unfortunately, some people think that the president and other people have ulterior motives, that they're not coming completely on righteous ground.
You're saying the president mean like president of the United States or
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
Some people, I said
right,
some,
but like that person, but like think about it. This has been an ongoing question before freaking Trump. Like this is not like a first time it's been brought up. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just not Trump oriented issue. This is about like asking a real question.
Wait a minute, Mr. Brooks. If we go back to the year 2000, and I'm racing Mr. Brooks for the president, the most powerful country.
I'll crush you.
Well, hold on. And you and I are listen to this though. Wait a minute. We are racing and we are neck and neck. And then the last state that's going to decide the election is freaking Ohio. Mr. Brooks, you better win that election.
Crush you. You're done.
But listen to this. I said we are neck and neck and we are tied. And the last state that's going to control or decide who wins the election is your home state of Ohio. And you said you're going to crush me. You are absolutely right. You better. But remember the words that you say, because President Bush, when he was racing Al Gore, the last state was Florida. And President Bush's brother, Jeb, was the governor. You better win that state, President Bush, or you ain't going to have no family Thanksgiving anymore. So I'll put your words right back at you. It's the truth.
I appreciate.
But the Democrats, and I don't take up for the Democrats very often. But the Democrats in that election said, look, some funny stuff happened. We are really upset about this, but we're going to take, this is Al Gore. We're going to take the high road. He didn't tell his friends, go on down to the Capitol and we're going to act a fool. He didn't do any of that.
Yikes.
So when we have to go back, when we have
wait. Look at history.
Okay.
Look at history, and there's a
Okay.
reason why 8 U.S. presidents are from Ohio.
But
That's not what I disputed,
And
though.
yeah, we're not there
That's not what
anymore.
I disputed.
Yeah.
I simply say to you, Mr. Brooks, when I have gone at the Democrats on here, you have seen me fight Lynn Medeiros to the T. But on this particular aspect, he's not completely wrong, and you're not completely right. I think it's kind of nuanced, and that's a word that no one ever hears me say. It's a nuanced
I agree
situation.
with you. Like I agree with you. I only give Mr. Medeiros, pardon me if I pronounce your last name incorrectly, sir, because he has a bad choice in teams. So that's the only reason why I give him guff. You know what I mean? Like, I actually love what he says, and I respect the heck out of him. But like, horrible choice in teams. But like,
That's fine. Hey, can I add a fun fact?
Yeah.
All right, so
Yes,
at
sir.
least 11.3 billion has been spent on the war so far. Funds allocated to the National Cancer Institute this year, 7.4 billion. Funds allocated to Head Start, 12.4 billion. So what's more important here? Does that sound like America first?
Wait a minute.
Does it sound like cancer first?
Whoa. Hold on, Mr. Medeiros. Because now you're taking my words. Because I've been having this argument for the last year and a half. About
So I'm just agreeing with you. That's all.
I know, and that's a shocker. Because
Why?
because when you and I agree, that's when we know shit is getting ready to hit the fan. When you and I agree on something, people know, we in trouble. We in trouble. So
And we are.
I think this voting thing is a very touchy issue for a lot of people because Mr. Brooks he's not completely wrong. He's not. But he's coming on righteous ground. I don't know if President Trump and these other Republicans are coming on total righteous ground. I have my reservations.
So are you talking about voting or the war or both?
I'm not even gonna talk about the war because
So both.
because
on the save that. On the save that.
Okay. Because here's the thing. One quick thing about that war situation. I told everyone from last year, I'm a protective veteran. I believe in protecting America. But we have other veterans who will strap up and come get you. They are thinking nothing about it. And I'm glad we have veterans like that. But I am not like that. I just want to protect America.
Mm.
And if I think that Iran was going to really come over here, if it was really an imminent threat, then I said, then we have to protect ourselves. I stopped there.
Yeah, nobody believes that.
I
I don't even think he believes it.
Look, I won't say nobody because I've seen people
That believe that that Iran was going to bomb us.
that Iran was going to come and get us sooner or later.
I'm talking about were they going to come and get us this year?
They believe that it was coming.
I tell you what, here's what I do know is coming and that happen in the next 20 years. Anybody who works in a state or federal building, anybody who works on those high rises making all that money, enjoy it while you can. Because I can guarantee you, if you go over there and bomb the bad people in Iran, if you don't clean out that whole country, somebody's child is coming back for you.
Yep.
Now, and we don't want to be taken off, so we'll simply say, unalive. I think that's the professional word that they use, unalive.
We're gonna say murdered, killed, and all that other stuff.
Right. We don't say that. We say unalive.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, but unfortunately, when you go after somebody and you say we're just going to take the bad people out and then we're going to let the good people remain, that's not how it works.
Richard, do you get charged in a court of law of unaliving or murdering?
In the court of law is murder.
Right.
Yeah.
Unalive is not court of law vocab.
Well, I see all the podcasters, they use all the unalive stuff, so they've been told.
Yeah,
we ain't them.
Yeah. And that's because
Mr. Glass is getting one day.
You see this shirt?
Okay.
Hey, come on, St. Louis.
One day,
is that time?
One day,
It's that time.
this podcast will be huge. So hey, one day this podcast is going to be huge, and everything we say is going to get brought back.
It
And they're
will.
gonna say, hey, you
Look,
said
I wanted to go viral. I want everything, and murder is the word.
It is because, and I
It's
understand.
murder.
I understand why people do that, right? Because a lot
It
of
ain't
people,
unhoused. It's homeless.
yeah, a lot of people are making their money off of social media, and there's a lot of people on social media who weren't born in the '80s and before, right? And a lot of people who weren't born in the '80s and before are soft. Hell, I'll even through 95, 95 and back, right? They have to, they can't hear stuff. Like, so what? If it's murder, it's murder. If someone's gay, they're gay, right? If it's a trans person that wants to be referred to as a woman, she, right? These things are real. So just playing around with words have meaning and words have power. They absolutely do. And when people begin to move the target and, hey, you hurt my feelings. Well, I'm not responsible for your feelings. You are.
Right. That's what you problem.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm old enough to remember when sex change operation was a word.
So
Right.
hey, check
Right?
this out. It's funny. It's funny that we say that because this war and how we have to, protect Israel. I find it so interesting. Certain people say again, never again. We must never forget. Those people get respect. But when I say it, I'm told I'm complaining. I'm told that I should get over it. I'm told that there's been slavery throughout all the world. World's history has been slaves, and black people sold other blacks into slaves to become slaves, and that we should just get over it. But when certain people say never again, they get the respect. I'm confused.
Do they get your respect?
I respect everybody.
Okay.
Because if I demand respect from you, then I have to give it to you, even though we're going to have these strong, disagreements on certain issues. So we have to be fair. But, by being fair and not being hypocritical, if you say, hey, this situation called the Holocaust was a horrendous event, Hitler was out of his mind, we will never, ever let that happen again. And we'll do whatever it takes to maintain Israel. If that's how you feel, then I've got to respect it. I only ask you to give me that same respect back. When I talked about the slavery of the Africans that were brought to America, you give me that same intensity, that same respect, that same love. But I don't think you can.
So are you saying that Jewish people are not giving you your...
No. I'm just saying people in general, when they say that with the Holocaust, because it happened, it was a great tragedy.
Yeah, but only Jews are saying never again.
No, I've heard some whites say that too. Oh, unless you're saying that Jews are white people. I'm confused.
Well, look, I had the pleasure or opportunity to work for American Jews and Israeli Jews.
Oh, okay.
And I never heard a WASP say never again with passion like they gave a damn.
Well, the way they say it with their passion is when they accept money from Jewish lobbyists.
Okay.
That's how they say it. That's how they say it.
Speaking of our Jewish brothers and sisters, I just want to also point this out for the general American public who might not know this fact and just want Iran to be nuked, right? You all do understand and realize that Iran houses the second largest community of Jewish people in the Middle East, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Absolutely, they do. They absolutely do. Those folks, I'm 110% sure.
I can believe that because the country is so darn big.
And as a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, some of those Jewish brothers and sisters in Iran say, if you are an enemy of my country, you are my enemy. Right? Some of those brothers and sisters say they would never move to Israel because that's not their country.
So the tossback is we all know that by our U.S. media that Iran has said to the former Khomeini, Ayatollah Khomeini, that death to America, death to Israel. What some people don't know is a few of the right-wing Israeli Jews has also said death to Iran. So it's, I think it's a little nuanced in a sense on that. Because I'm not defending Israel except for Hamas. Because if someone comes and grabs your people, you have to respond.
Sure.
And so now if Hamas got manipulated and got hustled and tricked into just crossing over there and grabbing some people, well, that's on you, Hamas. That's on you.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you said that because I want to make sure I make this statement also. I think Iran are bad. I think it's bad and a bad actor. Right. I think its leadership are bad. It's full of bad actors. That's the bottom line. Right. I just wanted to make sure I said that. And I also want Americans to understand and know that when you're talking about going in there, and I'm not even talking about the school of children that were killed. I'm not talking about that. But when you're talking about just going in and wiping all of Iran out, you're also talking about the Jewish brothers and sisters that have claimed that place to be home as well. I don't want us to lose sight.
And I have not heard the mainstream media talk about the Jews in Iran. I have not heard that.
And you probably won't.
So
that's the news that sells.
I want to go back to a second. So I sent the link to myself. I didn't send it to the group chat. It talked about all the times that the U.S. government has helped overthrow other countries, change regimes. Yeah. And this is documented. Mm-hmm. So the hypocrisy. The one thing about me, I do not ever want to be accused of being a hypocrite. So when we try to go and tell other countries what they can have and what they can't have, but yet you let one country try to tell us what we can have and what we can't have, we would throw a fit. So we have exalted ourselves as the world's leader. And then we can tell you if you can have nuclear weapons or not. And I said this last year, any country that can develop their own nuclear weapon can control their natural resources and control their destiny. If you don't have a nuclear weapon, you can't control anything because the country that has a nuclear weapon will come and take your country from you. So when we say, "Oh, Iran, we can't let you get a nuclear weapon," well, that's funny because Israel has a nuclear weapon.
Oh man, you beat me to it.
Go ahead.
Not only does Israel have nuclear weapons, but they will not get themselves registered on the world
stage. They won't give you the details.
Nope. They won't give you the details. They will not enter into any contracts that they said they would. They will not abide by anybody's rules on earth when it comes to their nuclear programs. But
I sent this joke to the chat probably last week, but it always makes me laugh. So the joke goes, well, why did you invade Iran? And the guy says, because they had nukes. He said, well, why won't you invade Russia?
Yeah, I see that.
Because they got nukes.
Yes, they got nukes.
Oh, so they got nukes. So why don't you go over there? Oh, I ain't going over there. They got nukes.
Right.
So one of them countries got for real nukes, and then one
Iran
play nukes.
Remember, President Trump said Iran was trying to develop their nuclear program.
Where's that?
Their capability. And so last summer in, I think, June or July, we bombed it and destroyed everything. But then somebody else said they got it deeper in the ground, so you didn't destroy everything. So now he said we have to go back to make sure because Jared and, Stephen, this is exact words. Jared and Stephen said that there was some possibility that they was really going to do something, so we had to act.
But I thought it was for the liberation of the Iranian people.
Yeah, I thought it was because we were days away from attacking us.
That too, all that, yeah.
All that?
Yeah. So the liberation of the Iranian people, imminent attack, allegedly. We don't want regime. We don't want regime change, but we want Khomeini out. Oh, wait. Oh, there's a midterm coming in November, so I got to move now.
By the way, I did look up a little further. I did dig a little deeper into emergency powers for the president during elections, and no, the president still cannot stop midterm elections.
I'm telling you, he's gonna watch a few more episodes of Star Wars, or he's gonna be like,
Yeah.
you know what? I can do this.
Yeah.
I can
You know what?
the supreme
You know what?
chancellor.
As much as I want to disagree with Lynn on this, I can't.
I can't either.
I can't disagree.
He's already said, listen, and I this is where the buck stops with me, and this is the honest truth, right? My honest opinion. I don't blame President Trump for much of anything that he's doing. I don't. I can't. A child will only do what the parent allows them. And the Supreme Court already said he could do whatever he wanted to, just about.
Yep.
And they walked away from it. If blame has to be, if we have to point a finger at a group or body or person, it's the Supreme Court. It's not President Trump doing what he's doing because he's been given the ability. A child is going to eat as much candy as they want to, and their stomachs are going to hurt, right? But they're going to do it anyway because they don't have, nobody's disciplining them and said, hey, listen, no.
I still say, because I'm a fair broker, I'm not for Trump, I'm not anti-Trump. It depends on the issue. But I want to go back to that Iraq war. See, that Iraq war didn't have to happen because there were no weapons of mass destruction. But yet we have forgotten that quickly. But when 9/11 happened, we said never again. Oh, it's going to happen again.
No, we said never forget.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Never forget. Thank you. So it's going
to
to happen.
Never again. I think that's trademarked by another group.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is going to happen to us again, and it's just a matter of when. So when they said we have to get rid of Iran because if we don't, we're going to get hurt by them. But even when we get rid of them, you're still saying put your head on the swivel because they're going to come back for us with some terrorist activity, which in our hearts, here's the funny thing. Every American, regardless of color or race, we know in our heart we're going to get bombed again. We know it. It's just a matter of when. So then you say, well, we got rid of the bad people. And then I say, if you don't knock out all of Iran and Syria and Lebanon, get rid of all of them.
Well, then you might as well start talking about Turkey.
Them too. So you say, well, Richard, you sound like a quote white man that's out of control. Yeah. If we're going to war and we know that they're going to come back for us, then you have to wipe them all out and be done with it. Then you say, well, no, we don't act like that. We have our Geneva Conventions. We do things strategically. We're more professional. We're a Christian nation. Okay, you keep thinking that. So on one hand, you're doing this arrogance, but on the other hand, you don't want to completely do it because you want to keep your position in the world that you're above reproach.
Right.
But that's not going to work because those people, all praises to Allah, when they fight the great Satan, they'll do anything and everything.
Are we going to explore a major ally of ours that is not going to join us in this fight?
Saudi?
So no, the UK is out. Spain is out.
I don't blame them.
France.
They have their own problems already.
Canada is out. Wig, you got to jump in there. I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
No, I'm doing a lot of listening tonight. If the fact that we would even consider wiping out these different countries versus dealing with the people, to me, this is my opinion, versus dealing with the people that actually do most of the harm over there. They drop the most bombs on most of the countries over there. So we don't want to deal with that one. We'll deal with everybody else.
You know who bullies don't stand up to?
Other bullies?
Other bullies.
Other bullies.
are the bullies. They give them their own corner of the classroom to bully in. They never
But then,
cross those boundaries.
but then we also say we have some people that are saying, well, this is not a war. This is not a war. So if we're not even gonna worry about 9/11, if let's say something happened in this country and they know it came from Iran, the first thing that we would do in this country is they declare war on us.
Correct. Because when we say war, are we saying in the noun or in the adjective?
Oh,
That's what I was saying. Because Congress declares war in the noun, but when
Right,
president,
but it won't take Congress no time to go declare war on that one right there.
correct, you're correct. Yeah, but my thing is, I don't want to see us over in Iran. But if you're going to go over there, then you got to knock it all out. In fact, when we went to Iraq, I told my Iraqi friend, I said, we shouldn't go over there. But if we're over there dealing with Iraq, then get rid of Iran too. Because you're over there spending the money, get your money's worth. So if Tyrone goes in the club and says, well, I don't like Lynn, so I'm going to try to shoot Lynn in the club. And Lynn's in the club with like 25 other Lynn's, all wearing the same color. You better shoot them all. You better shoot them all.
I got you. We got to get to around the horn. Man, there's a lot that I really did. Oh, rig back. Okay.
Yeah. My connection was bad, so I dropped myself and came back. I had a lot of background noise.
I meant.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with that, guys. I'm sorry I dropped off like that, but
No, you good.
You can't be hypocrites. At the end of the day, you can't invite one dictator over here and roll out the red carpet for him, and then tell another regime that they're bad. Now, I ain't saying Iran is good. They're not good at the end of the day. But you gotta be consistent.
Yeah. So let me.
You don't. You can't bring Saudi Arabia to the White House when they were part of when their country was part of 9/11.
Yeah.
And they have just as bad. They treat women just as bad as Saudi Arabia. So what are we doing here?
Not to mention having people. Anyway, I don't even want to go too far into that. But yeah, let me switch this over to around the horn because I gotta go check on some things. And no, I cannot go first on around the horn. Brooks, we'll put you up first. You still here with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Brooks, you there? Yep, he's there.
Can you hear me?
He's all the way there. He was there. Y'all didn't hear that?
I heard something. Is he counting sheep?
He counting them hard too. That brother had a long day at work today. He said it was tough, and I believe him. We'll put you up first for a round of horn. Oh man, Wig done froze up on us again. Let me pull him down. One more time. That's a hard-working brother right there. Let's get you around the horn real quick.
Okay. The longer we talked about this, the more resolve I have for, just pass it. Now I know in the political arena, the Democrats feel like they have a leg to stand on, which to some degree they do, but they're making it an issue over the exception and not over the rule. When we were talking about the Jasmine Crockett situation, I'm like, 800,000 people that looked like Jasmine that could have voted for her didn't bother.
How many?
And what I don't know, maybe one day I'll look this quote to my life. So I'll attribute the quote to myself. What you care about gets done. If you care about voting, you're going to jump through all the hoops you got to do to vote. Just like we did more than a century ago.
Yeah.
Voting was, I'm not worried about losing my life casting a vote. But there was a time where you could go out and vote and not come back home.
Mm.
You could be unalived at the voting booth. So I also know, being in the business that I'm in, fraud is everywhere in the world of insurance. You name the insurance, fraud is baked in. Fraud is baked into your premium. So whenever you have an opportunity to eliminate fraud, I think you should do it. So if the SAVE Act it takes it from 0.3 down to 0.0, let's do it so we can get that off the table and we can get that excuse and reasoning out of here. Because Donald Trump, you lost in 2020. I believe you lost because you went up against a white man. I believe the ones that you won, you only won because you went up against women. That's what I believe. Nothing that no one tells me is going to change that belief. That's mine. And I believe if he had gone up against a man this time, he would have lost again. But because we have a problem in our country with regard to sexism. We have a sexism problem here. We have a racism problem here. We got a few ism problems here in the United States. But with all that being said, for me, it's still the greatest country on earth, warts and all. Now, we have a lot of opportunity for improvement. And that's what I'm going to hope for and pray for moving forward. And if the SAVE Act can improve that, let's just pass it and see what happens.
That's hard to argue against that one. Rich.
Well, today's March 11th, 2026. I have to agree with Mr. Medeiros. Foundation in our country of sexism, racism, and a few other isms. And I think all that adds up to the hypocrisy of this country. And our hypocrisy has been here from the very beginning about all man's created equally, except for your property, which could be human beings. And that, we're a Christian nation, but yet I don't know how they used the Old Testament and New Testament to enslave Africans. I'm still trying to figure that one out, unless they were all Jews or Hebrews, but the original Hebrews are black, so I'm confused. So let me move on real quick here. I agree with Lynn that we have a lot to improve on in this country. With all that agreeing, I'm going to surprise you. I hope the SAVE Act doesn't pass. Even though it should, but there's certain parts of it that has to be eliminated. And a person like me who believes in mail-in balloting, because I can photocopy, I can scan my ballot for historical purposes, so that no one can accuse me of being this or being that. I can show you how I voted, and then you can criticize me on my vote. But I have it for you to verify for your criticism, because I can't criticize you unless you can show me. I can criticize you unless you can show me in documentation what you did. And so, I feel like the SAVE Act means well, but the person who's delivering it to us
doesn't.
I can't trust it. And then one quick last point. If the act passes, which somehow they don't have the votes in the Senate, because you can do a filibuster, which requires, you'd have to do, you would need 60 to overcome a filibuster. And the Senator Majority Leader Thune says, we don't have it. And if those Democrats break down and give into it, this is the one thing Democrats can't really give in on, because that voting towards in reference to the black community is so consequential. They can't give in on this one. If you want to upset black folks, You give in on this one. You won't see them for the next several elections. So I hope it doesn't pass. But if it does, then I'll take the required steps, because as Lynn says, what you feel passionate about, you take the steps to get it done, regardless of the consequences. And I strongly agree with that. Thank you very much.
Oh man, I just flipped
Oh,
my camera on TikTok to
oh.
show the viewers what's happening, but I'll flip it back on me. So you both hit the nail on the head when it comes to the actual reason why I pulled up the SAVE Act or Iranian War, a plan for the midterms, right?
Hmm.
There was a comment, and I trolled somebody because I'll do it. Just so clip this. I just need people to know that if you come in my comments on any social media platform and think you're going to make an off-brand comment and I'm not going to meet that comment with the same type of bullshit, you wrong. This is that podcast, and I am that host. I absolutely am. I will meet you where you are day in, day out, and I will be okay with it. If you have a derogatory word to call me and the panelists, guess what? I'm going to talk about your mama. I will do that. And I'm going to do it in the comments all day, because this is that podcast. Reciprocity is a recipe for success to me. I'm just throwing that out there. And if somebody has something stupid,
I'm curious. What was the
so
hook us up?
the comment, and this is why I like people who half-heartedly listen, kind of just jump in the comments to try and sound strong, do something to me. So the comment was, you Democrats don't know what you're talking about ever, and you're going to get what you voted for. And I sat back and I had to think about the absurdity of that comment when you voted for a felon and thought a felon wouldn't do felonious shit. Gas prices are up. Egg, bread, milk, cheese are up. The economy is spiraling out of control. 92,000 jobs last month. And he continued to say, I hope what you get what you voted for. Is this what your dumb ass voted for? Is this what you voted for? And I told him, I was like, first off, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. But even if I was a Democrat at this point, what you're telling me is that you knew better and voted for better, and this is your result, and this is what you consider better. I hope you got what you voted for. I had said that a while ago. I want them to get all of this. I want them to get, the penny is gone. I want them to get all of the bankruptcy that he's done to his companies. I want them to feel every last inch of pressure. I hope they get what they voted for. I hope every last immigrant, documented or undocumented, says, you know what, we ain't got to put up with this shit. We leaving. And I hope you go out there and you do their jobs. And if you can't, I hope somebody you know dies trying. Because the idiocy, the arrogance, the inability to actually focus and understand a movement, a portion, a segment of intelligence when jumping in my comments, I swear for Jesus, I will make you feel bad about having a mama. I promise that. I want to make sure everybody knows that it's me that's saying this. I started talking when I was on a little screen, but it's Jay Glass the Movement saying all of this. I'm saying all of it. Some of y'all are so stupid you don't know what stupid looks like. You are so far off in the distance of ignorant and dumb that you don't even know what the definitions of ignorance and dumb are. You are in such a valley of foolishness that the sunken place is somewhere that you should aspire to be. Your mother should be embarrassed for having you. Your father should be embarrassed for calling you a son or a daughter, because some of you motherfuckers are really just that stupid. You really are. And instead of having the heart, the tenacity, the actual testicular fortitude to come on the panel live and say something, you will jump in the comments quick. If you saw me in person, I guarantee you wouldn't have that same energy. Guarantee it.
You know what's funny?
Jay Glass, you from Philly?
Hey, hold on.
Hey, I'm from the show me state. I'm from the show me state.
So, well, hold on. Wait a minute. You know what's so funny? They obviously have not watched the show to see how much arguing we have done from both sides of the aisle and in the middle. So
that was actually my around the horn, but you're correct.
But you know what? Hey, I see people saying, "Hey, don't let that trigger you" and stuff. You know what I laugh about? I said this last year. And so to Dolores and to Janelle and anyone else who watches, you're dealing with June Geminis. If you think for 1 second, and Trump's a June Gemini, if you think for 1 second you can walk up on here and say something to us and think that we're going to let it slide, you don't know a June Gemini. Gemini.
Yeah, I'm going to catch
it. You will catch it. That's why we get into it so bad, because we're really the same person. And 3 heads walking around.
Like these folks, they kill me with that. Like, yeah. Again, it's the same people that would never come on the platform, and I invite everybody to come on. And again, who have clearly not heard us interact with each other, because we don't always agree, but we hash it out and we do it on purpose. But for somebody to just sit back and think that I'm not going to say something to you, I'll say something to your mama.
But listen, I know.
Say something to your grandma.
Listen to this. I know people may think, because sometimes the views are bashing Trump. I don't bash him, because I say when I agree with him and when I disagree with him. And that's why I've always said, when we talk about this individual, because the only other president that makes people so emotional is Barack Obama.
And not Clinton, he
should have been impeached for that tan suit.
Listen, the Clinton, the Bushes, Reagan, Nixon. Now
all JFK, 4 tan suits.
Hold on, JFK. That's different. But outside of JFK, it's only Obama and Trump that make people just come out and show out. Whether they're from the left.
Look, Biden had people getting their back up in those Biden years.
Yeah, but
he had people. I saw trucks here in Texas that had Biden painted on the lift gate.
Wait a minute, Texas. That's Texas.
Yeah, Texas. Wow.
Texas is different, right?
It's different.
So when we do this podcast, I always try to tell people, I may be emotional on some things. But when it comes to those votes, when it comes to counting, I get quiet. And I say, well, let's go back and let's look at those numbers again. Because normally, and I say normally, the numbers normally should be objective measurables, unless there's cheating going on. Normally. So, when we go through these legal briefs, or not legal briefs,
quick moment of PTSD.
these bills and stuff. That's why I said, hey, let's slow down for a second. So if somebody comes on here and says, these 3 black men, they ain't educated. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know about serving the country. Oh, is that what you think?
No.
Is that what you think?
Look, I'll be all of that. If a person wants to think that, I'll be all of that.
No.
And if it comes to it, I'll act like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, people, the amount of what I've noticed in life is, generally speaking, the most intelligent people or person in the room is the quietest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ignorant who are the loudest. And one of the things that I've often said about the podcast is that we do extensive research on our own. We also have life experience. And if we don't know something, we're okay with that. But and I'm gonna slip back into my normal self in a second here. But what I won't accept is blatant disrespect from a person whose whole culture aspires to be like me. So everybody's always welcome. Everybody will always be welcome. And if the shoe don't fit, you know, it don't fit. If it don't apply, let it fly for the people that'll hear this in the future. But if this is the thing that pisses you off that you hear me say, well, then I meant it. And you should take it personal. All the way. 2 tears in a bucket, as we used to say. Take it personal all the way. Anyway, I got to get off of this thing before St. Louis come out. Exactly. So with that being said, I absolutely appreciate all y'all for hanging out with us. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to hang with us. God bless and good night.